day we got the costumes, I received the shock of a lifetime. My costume did not come with a mask or claws, and I was playing the Beast. The next few weeks was a flurry of ordering test masks on Amazon, cutting countless air holes, sewing head straps, stuffing socks in the mask jaw, sweating profusely, and wondering whether we'd even be able to properly mask this thing. But I think we did a pretty good job in the end.
There were two parties involved in playing Cogsworth. One was Jessica, the other was the clock. That thing was so huge, it had to live in my car because I could not get it up the stairs to my apartment. And when I would try to get the thing on, when there was no one around at rehearsal to help me, I would have to kind of hoist it up and inch my way under it and wiggle through. It probably looked like that thing was eating me alive. It was a fight to the finish.
There was a lot of dancing, and I was learning the dances. And then Sharona came up to me and she said, "Neely, I don't think you're going to be able to dance in your costume." And I said, "Really? No dancing?" And really, there was no dancing.
During the week of Tech Week was the first week that we got to hear all of the sounds, and one of the sounds that cracked us up was when the Beast was sitting at the table and he was slurping his food, and it was just like it was so funny, we were all laughing backstage.
I remember in rehearsals I needed to get used to being pushed around in a cart, but we didn't get the props or costumes yet, so we had to use like a clothing rack. They pushed me around and it was just really fun.
We were rehearsing at the theater and I was wearing a scarf on my head, and as napkins we had very jumpy moves, and at one point we had to throw our head forward and then throw our head back, and my scarf went flying. It was a good laugh, but I wonder what the reaction would have been had it happened with my wig at the real show.
Thank you, Jessica, for adding a little lib and helping me recover after a candle went flying scene before a Be Our Guest. I ran off after the scene and Sharon was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Wardrobe malfunction happened! You betrayed me!"
Thank God this happened during dress rehearsal. I was still trying to figure out the back and front of the stage, and I was a fork, so I had to get over to the other side of the theater and very quickly get on, and I was all set, and I burst on to the lobby. It was not where I had to be, and I quickly got back on stage, and I never did that again, thank God.
The costume. I could not sit. I could not put it down without breaking it. And I couldn't put it on without at least two other people helping me. I think everyone in the cast ended up helping me put on that expletive costume, and we all bonded through the experience.
I had so many custom changes to do. I was the baker, then I was the wolf, I was the drunken guy, I was the pepper shaker, then I was the wolf again, and finally the pepper shaker again for the final bow. And of course, in one of those moments, my daughter comes and says, "Mom, you had the wrong costume on, go change again." And Baruch Hashem, that was only in rehearsal.
If you keep your eyes peeled, you might notice a scene where I lose my trousers.
During the Gaston tavern scene, we're supposed to lean forward on looking so down in the dumps. Boom. And the first few times I wasn't doing it on cue, and the very lovely and talented Dina Four, who stood next to me and named my character Steve, kind of pushed me down the first few times, and it got to the point where I didn't even have to think about what I was supposed to do when, because I knew she would just push me down.
During dress rehearsal in the bar scene, there was a loud bang, and we were all sort of frozen in fear. We didn't understand what had happened, except that we saw that Gaston was no longer standing on the bar. But literally, maybe one note was dropped as she continued to sing while she emerged from behind the bar and began to continue telling us how amazing Gaston was. We already knew what a consummate actress Neely Irwin is, but she just proved the point once again that evening. And from then on, for the rest of the performances, someone lay down inside the bar to make sure it didn't slide out from under her again.
So before every show, Layla and I would give each other a little hug, kiss, good luck kind of thing. And in the middle of the first act, Biel comes to me and she goes, "Oh, my mom just texted me that Layla has a kiss mark on her cheek." So in the show, Belle is supposed to slap Gaston. So in rehearsals, Neely and I had practiced that we were gonna do a really good sounding fake slap. So the first 2 shows, it didn't really work out and it was kind of like, eh. So before the last show, Neely comes up to me and she says, "Slap me for real. Like, just do it." I was like, "Really? Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, just do it." So I go to slap her, and no one else on stage knew that we actually had planned for me to slap her in real life. Their faces, that was not acting.
So one thing that you for sure did not even realize was that right behind the castle, that was Belle's little changing room back there. And we changed her into her ball gown and back out of it. And we changed her wigs back there. So it was a tight space. It was very fast and we were successful with it.
So I was in 11 costume changes and the final one was really scary because after the finale, as I was dressed as a man, as soon as the curtains closed, I had to run backstage and I had 16 seconds to change back into the salt shaker. The curtains open and I would present to do the bow.
When I was first cast as the rug, I only knew how to do a cartwheel, and my cousin from Israel actually taught me how to do my front walkover. Thank you, Mayan.
She did a great job, didn't she, guys?
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Love you. Love you too.
Yeah, I got to play a role that required a lot of method acting and a lot of thought on my part, and that was the role of a plate in Be Our Guest. We had these beautiful plates to wear behind us that were attached to us by these straps on our shoulders, and every time we would move, the plate would go up and down, so we had to do like kicks and walking, so we tried to move as little as possible and just kind of glide where we needed to go so that our plate wouldn't go up and down like crazy. But it was just so much fun, and shout out to all the plates.
So if you ask anyone what made my costume was my teeth. I used black tooth paint on different teeth for each show to kind of have a new experience of which teeth would be missing in my mouth. And one of my favorite moments was seeing a young girl stare at me after one of the shows and looking up at me, and her mom, seeing what was happening, said, "See what happens when you don't brush your teeth?"